What's the best value an AvGeek can get for 50 quid these days? What about a flight into one of Europe's smallest, most interesting little airports, with a routing that is one of the most scenic I've ever seen? I'm Ronnie, and my travel style can be a little intense. I like to see it all, do it all, and experience everything that a place has to offer. So if you're up for a really immersive travel experience, you're in the right place. So it's no secret that I'm a bit of an AvGeek. I love planes, I love airports, and I love the entire flight experience. This video is about my trip with Binter Canarias on their ATR72 between Tenerife Norte and the tiny island of La Gomera. I took the trip out, spent some time on the island, which was brilliant by the way, more content on that to come, and then flew back. In this video I'm going to cover both of those flight experiences. For just 50 quid return, it was a great trip for the AvGeek in me. So we're starting off in Tenerife Norte Airport. So I'm currently at Tenerife's other airport, Tenerife Norte. This is mostly a domestic airport, mostly does flights within the Canaries actually, and to the mainland, to Madrid, Sevilla, Barcelona. I'm not sure if it goes anywhere else. I know it does an international flight to Madeira, which makes sense, and it's pretty much dominated by one airline, which is Binter. I actually quite like the design of this, although I think it's quite old. It's not super modern, but it looks quite cool. So quite interesting. This is actually airside, even though we're overlooking the check-in area and security. You kind of wrap back round, which is quite odd. I've never seen that before. So this is the airport you need pretty much to connect to all of the Canary Islands, and it makes sense being in the north of the island, close to Santa Cruz, the capital of Tenerife, and also the largest city in the Canaries, administrative centre. Makes sense for this to be the sort of hub to the Canaries. Now, looking at the destinations, other than other islands, you can go to Jerez, where else? Malaga. Jerez, Malaga, Madrid, Barcelona. Yeah, that's it. And oh, there is a Madeira flight. A Madeira flight today. It's just gone. So yeah, cool airport though. Kind of feels a bit like a bus station, not gonna lie. Just because I guess it's that small. So I'm going from A5, which is downstairs. There is not much down there. Nor is there much up here, but it's an interesting view at least. Oh, it's quite cool being able to see over the check-in area and stuff. And this is basically it. So all the gates are just down this walkway. There's like a canteen bit. Oh, I panicked there thinking I was boarding. That's a Gran Canaria. Yeah, so this is it. That's security just there. And we're straight out onto the apron. Although we still seem to need to get a bus to basically cross the road to the planes. So this airport is pretty much, I'd say, controlled by it, but I would say about 80% of the flights are Binter. They operate like 95% of the inter-island flights. And they do some to the mainland as well. They've got a fleet of ATR72s. It's pretty congested here because security just backs out onto it, so we've got people repacking their bags. Where do I want to go? Not there. Where do I want to go? Not here, it must be there. I'm getting lost in this tiny airport. I saw a free seating area. There isn't much seating at the gate. A couple of cafes and stuff, but where they've got space, they've got these, which are quite nice. One thing I really like about this airport is it's an airport for AvGeeks. In two places in the departures terminal, we've got like screens showing photos from planes spotted. And here, we've got like a gallery of it, of the Canary Islands Spotting Club in Tenerife. Kind of like a gallery of their best photos. I think that's great. Like, it's so cool. And I've got these big screens by slideshow their photos. How cool is that?
Obviously, the airport is pretty significant to the people on the island, especially the smaller ones like Gomera and El Hierro. Pretty important link for them to Tenerife and the mainland. But we do have a gate. Oh, he's just out for a wander. I'm guessing that'll be open. So we've boarded a bus, I think, to go there. Only there. It's like being at Heathrow, this. We're boarding by row number, but if we're all being put on a bus, I don't really see what difference it makes. Unless they're sending 2 buses, which I'd be surprised. It's not a big enough plane to need 2 buses. You just fly this thing over. I do not understand the point of boarding by row number. And I think the entire plane is coming on this bus.
Tenerife Norte actually sits at 633 metres, or 2,000 feet above sea level. That makes it the highest commercial airport in all of the Canary Islands. Binter have been connecting these islands since 1989, so they're experts at this island hopping game. They run a modern fleet, mostly ATR72s, perfect for these kind of trips, because they're more fuel efficient on these shorter sectors. They also have excellent short takeoff and landing performance. A 72-600 generally needs about 1,300 metres for takeoff and can land in around 900 metres. That's pretty key for getting into the smaller airports with shorter runways, like La Gomera, as we'll see. They're also pretty robust, designed for plenty of takeoffs and landings, which is exactly what you need for a high-frequency island service. Some of Binter's fleet will fly up to 10-15 sectors in a day.
Hola, buenas.
Buenas tardes.
Gracias.
Buenas tardes. Buenas tardes.
Oh, fail there. Could not find the row number. Like up above the cabin bits, so ended up halfway. Oh, most of the way down the front of the plane. And the seat is in the middle. I mistakenly thought that D would be the end of it. So they seem to sell like a backwards facing jump seat style. See? The guy facing the rest of the cabin. What?
Durante el despegue y el aterrizaje solo están permitidos los dispositivos que pueden ser manejados cómodamente con una mano. Check that your electronic devices are in flight mode. During takeoff and landing, only electronic devices that can be easily handled with just one hand are allowed. Information about the use of electronic devices on board are placed in the seat pocket in front of you. We kindly ask you to read them carefully. Se atraviesa por la abertura, se pasa la cinta por la cintura, se acopla el extremo en el cierre delantero y se ajusta fuertemente. Place the light jacket over your head, tie the strap around your waist, couple it into the clasp and pull tight.
There's just something more exciting about being in a smaller plane. I don't know what it is. I love a prop. Like, isn't it cool just seeing the prop? Like, it'd be very obvious if it stopped, right? Such a cool view, like right under the wing.
Tripulación de cabina asegurada para el despegue.
We're quite a busy airport, this. Oh god, we're accelerating whilst we're turning. Okay. Taking a running start up to it. So flight time today, they've said 30 minutes, but if you look on Flight Radar, rarely takes over 20 down the coast to Tenerife, and La Gomera really isn't that far. You can get there by ferry from Los Cristianos in the south, which might make more sense for you, but for me, I enjoyed the flight. I wanted to see the airport, and the flight was £50 return. The ferry was £100 return. I'm like, I'm not paying twice as much for the displeasure of going on a boat. I do like a boat, but I prefer a plane, especially a little plane. Quite a cloudy day today, so maybe we'll break through the clouds. Maybe we'll see Teide on the way, but we might not have a view of anything until we get down to land in La Gomera. So I'm gonna enjoy the 15-minute flight. I reckon it'll be about 15 minutes, and the view of the propeller. I'm quite happy watching that, to be honest. It's quite hypnotising. Here we go. Nice and sunny above the cloud. So see. Yes, the air around was quite rough.
The airport's built on this plateau, partially chosen to protect the nearby national park, which is a UNESCO World Heritage site.
That was a great London. Loved it. Can we go again? I want to go again. New Canary Islands unlocked. I'm quite excited for this one, to be fair. The landing music is a terrible cover of Hit Me Baby One More Time. You know, like Matalan covers. Gracias. Hasta luego. A cute little plane, beautiful sunny day. I'm happy. I think we're the only plane here.
Arriving in La Gomera, you can tell straight away that the place is a bit different. The airport's incredibly compact, has a personal, remote feel. It only opened in 1999. Its runway is just 1,500 metres long. That's just under 5,000 feet. The short runway limits the kind of aircraft that can fly in here. No jets, that's for sure. And the ATR72 is perfect and necessary for serving this island. Flights here are usually also restricted to daylight hours because of the nearby terrain and the short runway. The airport normally only sees 4 scheduled flights a day, all Binter ATRs connecting to Tenerife Norte or Gran Canaria.
This operation's so funny. So the plane is just there, yeah? The guy's just driving the cart around there to the one baggage reclaim, number 1, because it's the only one. I love a little airport. Watch my bag somehow managed to be the very last one out. There is not many people there. There's not many bags. I just hope they're not all booked to the same hire car company. Well, that's what takes time. Oh, there's me. Sorted. Alright, let's go and see what the queue's like to get the car. Well, that inter-island flight experience is pretty cool, to be fair. Oh, so far, no queue. Like, I obviously heard me insulting car hire companies. That is the quickest. I mean, you practically threw the keys at me. Very efficient. From landing, collecting bags in the hire car, 5 minutes, maybe. Definitely encourages me to do some more island hopping in the Canaries when domestic travel is like this quick and easy, and yeah, it's nice. How's that for a quick turnaround? Thing's bloody ready to go again. That's efficiency. nuts. It literally has taken 5-10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes to get the car and get out to here. And they've got engines going again to hop back to Tenerife, I guess. Right, I need to figure out where I'm staying tonight, I can't remember.
After spending some time exploring La Gomera, it's time for the return journey to Tenerife Norte. The routing of this return flight offered some amazing views. Today we're taking off from runway 27, heading west. We make an initial left turn, which takes us out over to the sea. From up here I can see the area of Valle Gran Rey, where I spent a few days, a really beautiful part of the island. And after climbing a bit to clear the terrain, we make a 180 turn to the right and come right back over the island. The whole of La Gomera pretty much laid out underneath. An absolutely incredible view. Then we continue to track the west coast of the island towards Tenerife Norte. Cruising altitude today is 9,000 feet. And as we get a bit closer to Tenerife, there it is, Mount Teide. This is Spain's highest mountain, standing at 12,198 feet above sea level. So from our 9,000 feet, we're actually looking up at Teide's summit, and it gives you a real sense of how enormous this volcano is. That was a great little trip between Tenerife Norte and La Gomera. Even if you're not an av geek, the views on that routing today were incredible. For around 50 quid return, great value. I'd say it's one of the best little av geek adventures you can have in Europe for that kind of money. If you're an aviation enthusiast and you're heading to the Canary Islands, I'd honestly say this is well worth doing. Forget the ferry. If you want to see more content like this, please give this video a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, it really helps. Cheers, see you soon.